Hai, Assalamualaikum semua. Selamat petang pada follower page Harimau Melaya. Hari ini eksklusif Syam bawakan untuk anda sekali lagi. Mungkin ada yang pernah mengingati beliau, pernah tengok beliau beraksi di Liga Super, iaitu bekas penyerang import untuk pasukan Kedah dan juga pasukan Pulau Pinang. Kita ada Ken Ilso. How are you, Ken? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Very good. It was a very
Yes.
nice introduction. I didn't understand everything, but it was good.
Thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. Okay, Ken. Right now, after you retired, maybe my first question, what are you doing right now?
Right now, I'm working as a TV expert for Viaplay. It's original Swedish company, but working in or broadcasting in Denmark as well, and a lot of places all over the world actually. So I'm working at Viaplay as a TV expert. So I'm covering the Bundesliga and also the Danish Superliga. And I'm doing that. I've been doing that for a little bit more than 2.5 years, and my contract is done by the summer, and then I have some new exciting things coming up.
Okay, Ken. Before this, you played in Malaysia, right? If I'm not mistaken, January 2017, you signed with Kedah. At the
Yeah.
first place, at that time, why you choose and agree to come to play in Malaysia League before?
I played before I came to Malaysia. I played in the Singaporean league, and everyone in Singaporean, in Singaporean football, even though the majority of the locals are Chinese originals, then in the football world it's really different because there are mostly with the people with Malay originals, or with Malay origin. So therefore, they just kept on saying that you need to go to Malaysia. You need to play there. It's really nice. Here in Singapore, there's not so much crowd, but in Malaysia, it's crazy. You have 30, 50,000 people at the stadiums. It's amazing. So I started looking at who I could contact in order to be interested, in order to go to Malaysia. And I got contacted by this agent who said that Kedah is interested. And I said, okay. I took a look at the club and I really liked what I saw. And also I saw that especially the atmosphere was something that I'd been, playing in the Bundesliga in front of 70,000, 60,000 people. And in Singapore, there was not so much attendance. So when I looked into Kedah and I saw the home fans, then I was like, okay, I need to play in front of a crowd like this.
Okay, I think after 1 season and a half, you played in Malaysian League, right? So how you feel about the Malaysian League environment, culture, and also the fans?
Yeah, I feel really. It's one of the periods in my football career that I really miss, because sometimes when you're in it as a football player, you always get told by like from other professional football players who finish their careers. They always talk to the ones who are playing and saying, "Oh, you have to enjoy the moment, enjoy it now, because when it's over, you'll be missing it." And when you're playing, you're like, "Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, fine." Then there's the next training, the next match, and you forget about this. But when I look back at my football career now, the time that I had the most enjoyment and enjoying life, football, having fun, was when I played in Malaysia, and that's of course because of the fans. I still remember when we're playing I think it was the cup semifinal, and it was completely sold out, and people were hanging in the lights on the four corners. They were hanging up there because they hadn't been getting a ticket, but they just wanted to watch the match. So that kind of engagement, that kind of feeling towards Malaysia and towards Kedah and football. That's what I miss.
I think your statistic quite good with Kedah, right? So you score 25 goal. You have win the Charity Cup, FA Cup, National Cup, runner up. So after the 1 season with Kedah, so many fans asking why you not continue at that time with Kedah. Just 1 season.
Yeah, but the question is now if I should do the diplomatic or I should say what's really the thing is that in Malaysian football, and I think all of Malaysian football have to be aware of this, because there is a tendency in Malaysian football that you like to change the foreigners, not only if it's been going bad, but also sometimes if it has been going good. Different people are sometimes working in politics, so some people in the organization wants another player or know somebody who knows someone who think are better than what they have, um, and therefore it ended up that I didn't stay. They contacted me, Kedah, to say that they wanted to continue, but it was after that I already said that I want to leave the club, because I was irritated that Kedah didn't come earlier to me and said, we want to extend. You are a top goal scorer. We want you. So therefore I got irritated. I said, okay, me and Zach Anderson, we're leaving the club. I talked with Zach Anderson and I said, let's just write out that we're leaving, then they have to come to us because now I'm tired of waiting. And then they came and, then you have to negotiate salary. And it felt like that they only did it because there was so much pressure from the fans that they like, okay, we can talk extension, but it was like somebody didn't really want to, somebody wanted someone else. And I think that was very bad because we had a very, very good team. And it would have been amazing to continue with the same players.
What you say right now, what you say that time still happened in National League.
Yeah. But it is like that. And I think it's because that sometimes there is not the strategy in the Malaysian clubs. It is not something which has been decided upon. We all want success in football, but sometimes there are 4 or 5 different people who have different strategies or different goals for themselves. Instead of sometimes you have to unite and say, okay, what does the club, where do we need the club to be? Do we need it to play in the Asian Champions League? Do we need it to be contender with the JDT every year? What do we need? And then make a united strategy. And I think that a lot of places in Malaysia, in Malaysian clubs, there is still not one united strategy. It's still different kinds of goals, different kinds of strategies. And therefore, when it is like that from the top, it spreads towards down. So that's why you see different kind of players, different kind of years. A year where it's going good, a year where it's going bad, And in the end, you can only love the fans because the fans, they're still standing there. They're still standing outside to buy a ticket to get in. So I think if I wanted to change something in Malaysian football, it would be for sure that there is a united strategy towards something.
Okay, put aside about the issue, what the best moment for you in Kedah?
There are so many good moments. Of course, winning the cup final, but I think also just for me, it was the whole year was amazing. It was like coming to Kedah, knowing that Kedah is a popular club, especially in the area, but that it has always been seen maybe as, just below the top. But to coming and feeling from day one that we could actually be a problem for JDT, the way we were playing with small passing and just seeing that it was beautiful football also. We played that kind of football that people wanted to come in to watch. And of course, a big part of that was also Coach Tan, who, unfortunately, JDT, they saw this and they said get him out, get him out of Kedah, because we had a lot of success, But that I remember that even in the first games, I didn't score, and there is a big pressure on foreign strikers to score from day one. But I remember Coach Tan, he said, just relax. You're going to score. When you score, we're going to score a lot. And then I scored, I think it was the 4th or the 5th match away. Then it just continued from there. I just kept on scoring, So.
Yeah, during that time, I still remember Kedah performed very well, played a short pass, tiki-taka. Suddenly, Constant got offer, right, to go to become an assistant in Malaysia national team. What is hard for you as a player that time? Kedah is still perform, then suddenly the coach need to go out. So how you feel that time among the player?
Yeah, I think Coach Nissam, he actually did well when he took over, because he can just go in. He knows the club, and he just wants to try to continue the same kind of football. But it always has an influence when the first team coach, that he goes away. You know, because Coach Tan, huge respect to him. He did a very good job while he was there. But it was also like, I hope he feel like this today, that he didn't fulfill what we could have achieved in Kedah if he would have stayed, because we were already one united team. But when you take out different people, sometimes you can take out one or two players. But when it's the coach is a very big, important role of how the team is playing. But Coach Tan was also very important for how the team were interacting with each other. So it of course it was a big hit. But yeah, it was a difficult experience as a player, because you feel this insecurities within the team. The foreigners, we have like a group, because we know there's a lot of pressure on the foreigners. So we're like, okay, we need to continue to perform, but you can also feel some insecurities in the locals, that suddenly the manager is taking over.
What you think about the Coach Tan at that time you play with under Coach Tan?
Yeah, it was very good. As I said, he believed in me from day one, and even when I didn't score, he still kept on believing in me, and it was one of the reasons that I knew that I had such a successful time in Kedah. It was because that he kept saying, "You're gonna score, don't worry." And when I did, because he had just had to give me that faith until I start scoring. Because as soon as I start scoring, Coach Stan, he's a clever coach. He knows a striker. If a striker knows where the goal is, if you can, he can see that in training. If you can see in training, this guy, he can score goals. Then you also know that when it comes in the matches, it will just continue. It will just be he will just have a lot of confidence, and it will just keep on going. So Coach Tan knew this, and he had patience, because some coaches, some inexperienced coaches, they just try to make the change quickly. So they say, "Oh, take him out. He's not scoring. Put someone else." Like, they are feeling stressed, but because Coach Tan, he kept calm, then he also gave me calmness. So, and I think that's what Coach Tan, he did with the whole team, actually, that he gave this calmness that Coach Tan believed. I don't know if he did. Maybe Coach Tan was a little bit insecure. He was thinking like, "Oh no, this guy's never gonna score," but he didn't show that to me. He showed that he was calm, and therefore that I also start scoring.
Okay, I heard from your interview, you say you need to wear your boxer to get the lucky that at that time at Kedah. Maybe you can comment a bit what that.
I need to wear my what?
Your boxer.
Oh yeah, my own boxers.
What
Yeah, but I had as a striker, you get some weird things when you play. That I had, for example, I didn't like wearing these normal shorts that everyone is wearing underneath our yellow shorts, for example, or black or whatever we play in. So I always had my own boxers. It needs to be my own boxer shorts, and if I had scored in them, I need to keep playing in them, until they didn't succeed anymore, and then I changed. So sometimes in Kedah, I had a very good streak a lot of times. So these boxers at the end, there were holes everywhere. They were smashed. Of course, I washed them all the time, but they were smashed. So at the end, I was just like, okay, I cannot wear these anymore. They're finished. So yeah.
Okay, you play also in Europe, right? In Bundesliga, Netherlands. So after you play in Malaysia and Singapore, what the difference you think between maybe Europe and Southeast Asian league from your view?
But there's a lot of things in the European leagues. It's a lot more physical, but it has also a lot to do with the weather. Because in Malaysia it is very humid, it is very warm, so you cannot put this physical effort doing 90 minutes. It's impossible. I came from Europe to, well, first it was I tried to play in Singapore. It was the first China, actually. Sorry, then I came straight from what's it called, from Germany. Then I feel this humidity, and I was like, oh, okay, I cannot take this physical level year I need to change. So that's why the whole style of football is different in Malaysia. It is, or in Southeast Asia, it is a lot more very dynamic, very short time, and then it will relax a bit. Everyone is like getting some air in, getting some oxygen in, just like okay, coming to themselves, and then it starts again. So it's a very different kind of play. That's why it's very difficult to compare the two different leagues. Of course, if you look at the level in Europe, the standard level of all players are higher because they got their education from very young, and they learned all the tactical stuff. They have been taught in all the technical aspects from when they were very small kids. They have been preschooled, so to say. But when you play there, you cannot just come from Europe and just think that you're gonna play well in Southeast Asia, because you have to adapt to the weather. You have to adapt to the playing style. Like I said, it's also because of the weather; it's a bit different. And then you have to adapt to mentality, because it's also a different mentality in Southeast Asia. And you have to speak with players in a different way. You have to be a part of them. You have to show that still that you have your merits, that you have been playing in a big league. You have to come with this attitude. You have to come with self-confidence, but you also need to mingle. You also need to go down and eat the nasi lemak, or rendang. No, and that's what I also like. So it's also a very mental game, and that's why I felt that I connected very well with playing with the Malaysian players.
You still follow the Malaysia League?
I follow very little because everyone that I knew, they are almost gone. I know the coach that you had in Kedah, Aidil.
Ideal.
I
I
know I know him from Singapore. I had him as an assistant coach and national coach in Singapore. Um, First team coach, sorry, in Singapore at Home United. Um, so I followed a little bit when he was a coach. I followed when Lady Don was still there, when Sandro. They stayed. I think Sandro stayed for one more season in Kedah, and Leridan has been a little bit all over us. So, and Telangana also lately. Yeah. So I've been following a little bit, but not completely. But I know that Kedah has not been so good as we were that season since we left.